Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on Is My Team Working Efficiently? We're really glad you could join us today. So we have a lot of great stuff to cover, and it would really help, which will really help you to get the most out of your Time Doctor subscription and, of course, your team. Before we dive in, I wanted to introduce myself and my awesome colleague who will be joining our discussion today, Calvin.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me again. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. As you heard, my name is Calvin, based out in South Africa, and I'm excited to join Laura today.
Yeah, so this is Laura. I'm the client success team lead for the Western region at Time Doctor, and I am from Argentina. So, the purpose of today's session, guys, is to empower you with the strategies that will hopefully improve your team efficiency using Time Doctor. Let me give you a quick peek on what we're going to talk about today. So, we'll kick things off by discussing why it is so important to keep an eye on efficiency. Spoiler alert, it's a game changer for your success team. So next, we're going to talk about how zooming in on the tasks that really move the needle can lead to bigger wins. Also, we're going to take a look at some tools that will help you take care of your team's performance and take them to the next level. We all know that collaboration is key, right? So we're going to cover some tips on making it as smooth as possible for everyone involved. Then we're going to learn how to balance focus and collaboration for the best outcomes. Also, we're going to introduce some new releases here, Time Doctor. Pay attention. Some cool add-ons that can really ramp up your team's efficiency. And of course, we're going to finish things off with a wrap up and a Q&A session where we can throw all your questions on our way. So that is our plan. Feel free to ask questions along the way, and let's keep this as much as interactive as we can. Okay. However, before we get rolling, I've got a few quick housekeeping pointers to share with you. So just a heads up, we've muted all of your microphones. So this way we can keep things running smoothly without any unexpected interruptions. However, if you do have questions during the session, please feel free to pop them on here on the Q&A section on the bottom of the screen. We're going to tackle those during the QA time. Don't feel, don't be shy, please. And also, no need to take frantic notes. We're recording the session with the whole thing, and we're going to be able to send it out to you afterwards. So kick back, relax, and just keep soaking up all the information. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, let's try to define what efficiency means. So basically, this is the best way possible. It's like meaning doing tasks in the best way possible, using the least amount of time, effort, or resources. We all know it's about it's getting the things done without any wastes. And how does it impact productivity? So it means more work done, right? So efficiency allows for more tasks to be completed with the same resources. And as tasks are completed faster, it leads to more time to doing other type of works. And also with efficiency, there are fewer errors and there's also a higher quality of products or services. All of this gets revenue impacted in a direct manner. So efficiency reduces, of course, expenses and increases profits. And it also allows to lower costs for better pricing. So there's a competitive pricing set here and attracts, of course, more customers. Therefore, we can see an impact on growth in general. So efficient processes are simpler to grow and scale. And then higher efficiency supports investments in new areas. So basically, efficiency helps business produce more, save money, grow, and all keeping customers happy, which we all love. And what are some of the productivity challenges that we have encountered? So there's a lot of, and nowadays, there's a lot of frequent interruptions from different sources of communications like emails, phone calls, social media. We're all guilty of that. Like, we're all victims of that, sorry. And of course, unplanned meetings, they all disrupt focus and they impact severely on productivity. Also, another challenge that we face is the inability to manage time well, which can lead to missed deadlines, stress, and inefficient work processes. And with inefficient work processes, when we're using outdated or complex procedures, we can slow down tasks, and this can cause frustration and lead to a reduced productivity. So remember, efficiency doesn't just improve individual performance, it lifts the whole team. And when a team runs like a well-oiled machine, everybody wins, from the employees to all your customers as well. Over back to you, Kyle.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. My task is to help you understand the second section that we mentioned in the beginning is how can we maximize efficiency by focusing on high impact tasks. So we all know that high impact tasks generally will push you towards your maximum results. And there's a couple of ways that you can leverage Time Doctor to help you with that. But before we get into that, let's define, high impact tasks and their roles within business success. Obviously, we're all here because we want to have successful businesses, and high impact tasks are key activities that greatly help your business meet its goals. They use important resources effectively and bring the biggest benefits, such as things like increased growth, higher revenue, and a stronger market position. Now, who here doesn't want any of those three? And if not, then we can talk about that a little bit later. But these tasks are usually connected to the main strategies of the organization. Now, when it comes to high impact tasks and their roles in business success, there's two things that generally come to mind, two of the main things, amongst other things, but I'll just touch on those two. One is resource optimization. So by focusing on high impact tasks, businesses can allocate time, money, and personnel to the activities that offer the most value, thereby improving their overall efficiency and effectiveness. Now, once you've improved your overall efficiency and effectiveness, that will then most likely, and in most cases, what we've seen is it results in revenue growth. These tasks typically will drive your sales team, they'll increase your market share, and they'll also open up new revenue streams, contributing directly to the financial success of your company. But as Laura was mentioning, there are also common time wasters that reduce efficiency. She already mentioned some of the distractions, but I'll mention two others. Firstly, excessive workload. Okay, this is a common factor, especially in a distributed work environment where people are working remotely, they're working from home. We sometimes find in a lot of cases that there's an excessive workload, and overloaded employees with too much work can lead to burnout, and therefore, if they're burning out, obviously their productivity will decrease. Another major one is communication gaps. So poor communication within a team can lead to many misunderstandings and therefore a delayed project completion. Okay. Now, as you can see on the screen, one way that you can leverage this is by using Time Doctor's projects and task report to track and analyze task allocation. With that being said, I'm going to jump quickly into Time Doctor to show you this products and tasks, basically how you can utilize that without really worrying too much about whatever else is happening, and then you'll be able to basically figure that out on your own, right? So just give me a second. Let me pull that up, and we can go there. Right, here we go. Fantastic. Just as a reminder, while I'm pulling that up, please don't forget to ask your questions in the Q&A section so we can dive into those as we get to the end. But here we go. All right, so what you'll see directly on my screen is the projects and tasks report. This you will find if you look under reports and go down to projects and tasks. Okay, now this is obviously visible if you are using the interactive version. This is where your users have the ability to interact with the projects and tasks. If you're on the automated version, or some people know it as the silent version, you won't necessarily be able to see the projects and tasks. Now, by streamlining this and understanding how this works, you are able to see within a particular group or in the entire company, you can see what are the main projects, how much hours have been allocated to that, who are your personnel that are spending the most time on particular tasks, and that's where you can leverage these kind of things to understand how you can use your project and task report, and making sure that they're not overloaded with work, the tasks are not taking too long, and ultimately you're able to balance your team better. You can view this from a daily perspective. You can also view it from a weekly perspective, a monthly perspective, or if you want to look at a wider range, you can also click on the date range and you will be able to look at it maybe even over a quarterly period if you want to balance it a bit differently. So make sure that you are using the right tools to understand these things, and then you can definitely move forward and make sure that your team is working efficiently as you align them together. Back to you, Laura. I'm going to stop sharing and you can take it from here.
All right. Okay, now I'm going to show you one other way to, hold on, share here. One other way to evaluate efficiency on your teams. So let me just quickly show you three cool stuff. I can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the three things I want to talk to you about today is web and app report, activity summary, and then the executive dashboard. Let's start with the web and app usage report. We can basically structure you can see this report in three sections. The first one will show you a chart with trends, right? So I selected here the client success team, and I selected the week of February 3rd from the 3rd to the 9th. So we're going to see our team's performance from that week. So here we see a chart, beautiful chart. And then up here, the next section is a list of all the users with the time amount that they have spent on tracking on Time Doctor. And then we're going to see the quality of the websites and applications these teams have spent their times on, because they can be, tracking time, okay, but they can be doing something totally out of what they should be doing in their working hours. So we want our teams to be focused on the webs and apps that matter to their jobs. So this is one way to view that, right? So we're going to see, as I said, the number of hours tracked and the quality of the websites they have been accessing. So in here we see the productive websites, unproductive websites, and neutral. You can also filter this report through the web apps tab here. So we see all of the top productive websites, the ones that are mostly used by our team, and you can also filter them into just to take a look at what are the most unproductive websites that our teams are accessing, so that we can act upon that, right? So here at Time Doctor, we're a little bit flexible in those terms. Like it's okay to have some level of accesses in neutral websites or even a non-productive website, as long as it's um, relatively low, right? So yeah, so this is the web and app usage report. Feel free to play around with it. It is a very intuitive and very easy report to extract data. And then a deeper level into this category would be the activity summary report. This is one of my personal favorite reports because it will give me insights on how many hours my team has tracked for the specific day or time frame that I choose, and will also tell me what activity level these employees have had. So what does this mean actually? Let's take a look at my name here. So yesterday I tracked 9 hours. So if I click on my name, I'll be able to see how I compare among other users within the Time Doctor environment. So in this case, like I have a medium usage of Slack. So it's my user compared to everybody else in Time Doctor. And we can see what are some of the activities that I'm a very high user or low user. I'm not interacting as much with my computer when I'm on one of those websites. So you can find out more in our support article about this activity level, which is a very newish feature that we released late last year. Then another insight that is very important for the analysis of efficiency on your teams is the idle minute percentage. So as I said earlier on the web and app usage report, I can have my team tracking 9 hours a day. But if most of their time is spent on websites that are not meaningful to their work, there's a red flag right there. And then the other red flag could be the amount of inactivity between the user and the computer. But let's be mindful, guys. It's normal that one has idle time. We're humans, mental processes take place when we are working. And if I have to read a document or watch a video, I don't necessarily need to be interacting with my computer. Right now, for instance, I'm running a webinar with our clients, and this is a total productive usage of my time. However, I'm not interacting with my computer right now. So every minute that I spent without interacting with my computer will be counted towards idle time. So it's normal, guys, to have idle time. Of course, we're going to have to take a look at anomalies, right? If someone is having 95% of their time in idle and when they should be, typing down emails or making phone calls. So that's something that we should be looking out for. But otherwise, idle time is a healthy signal of that someone is, interacting with is actually performing their work. We're not robots, okay? So this activity summary report will give me quantity, quality, and inactivity or activity time, right? We also see here how much time I spent on what we called internally unproductive websites. And remember that unproductive websites is something that is very specific to each of our clients. So for example, like YouTube for Time Doctor is not considered a productive tool. So every time that I go into YouTube, it will be counted towards my unproductive time. However, if I'm looking for something, particularly for my job role, for example, something on client success, how to be a better client success manager, then it will be okay for me to spend some of my time on those websites. So be mindful and categorize them accordingly so that you can assess your team the right way and the fair way, right? This activity summary report will also give you insights if someone has logged time manually. Remember, manual time is only for interactive app. And then mobile time, if someone has downloaded Time Doctor mobile application and has struck time there, it will also reflect here. We have added a newest feature last year, which is break time. So yesterday, for example, I logged 1 hour, 9 minutes for my lunch break. So this will also be reflected here. So this is a very cool report because in just one single report, I get different insights on what's going on with my team, and I can address any anomalies if I detect anything that calls my attention. And also, of course, reward those people that are doing a great job as well. So yeah, this is activity summary. Then let's jump in real quick into the executive summary report. Just so you know, the executive summary report is a report that is available only in our premium plans, and only admins and owners of the account will have access to this report. So in case you're right now navigating your console and you don't see it available, that might be the reason, right? So if you're interested in getting this report, please let us know. Let's put a question here, or we're going to run a poll here if you want to be contacted by our AEs in order to find out more how you can get this executive summary report. But in a nutshell, the executive summary report dashboard is a bird's eye view on how your different groups or departments are behaving, right? So the other reports, it's very similar to the team dashboard, but the only difference is that the executive dashboard will compare groups and not individuals. So think about if you run a big organization and you're an admin of the account, you may not necessarily know who Calvin Gopal is or who Laura Caceres is as an individual. But you want to assess if the Western team is underperforming in comparison to the Easter team that Calvin is. So this is a very cool way for us to compare and contrast, and assess workload activity. If something needs to be done on the Western team or new hires need to be aggregated to the team in order to assess workloads. So this is a very cool report too that will give you insights on different metrics, average hours tracked, idle time, potential work-life balance issues, but across teams. One more thing before I get back to you, Calvin, is this is a very cool summary of what kind of users and what kind of settings are established here in your accounts. And this will be helpful for you to identify if there are enough managers for the amount of regular users you have in your account. Do we need to have more? Are they okay? Like, is there a correlation between that? And also, if it will tell you, for example, how many users have enabled their screencasts. So you're going to see, oh, only 45 out of 217. Why? Why some people don't have screencasts enabled? Is that okay? Is that not? Like, do we have to remove someone from that configuration? So remember, bird's eye view across teams. So this is a very cool report to have in mind when you have to make decisions and you don't have a lot of time to analyze and dig into all the reports. This will be a good snapshot for you to start with. So yeah, over back to you, Cal.
Awesome. Laura, thank you so much for diving deep in there to explain that. And I'm going to just kick it off and continue where we're at. We're going to be talking a little bit more now about using all of these different things that we've been speaking about and streamlining collaboration for a seamless workflow. So when it comes to seamless and productive workflows, one of the things that you would need to do is you need to identify where those collaboration bottlenecks are. And I've mentioned a few, we've been speaking about it throughout the webinar so far, about some of the common challenges. And I always come back to this one because it's a major one with a lot of our clients, even sometimes internally, is understanding the best way to communicate effectively. So miscommunication is a big bottleneck. Because lack of clarity in communication can lead to a bunch of misunderstandings, errors, and delays in project completion. So if all of that is happening, that means there's a reduction in obviously your overall efficiency. The other major thing, and this I had a chat with a client of mine a couple of weeks ago about this particular one. This particular bottleneck was working in silos, information silos. You have a bunch of different teams working in the same company, but every department, every division has their own goals, have their own targets that they're trying to reach, and sometimes we can find that we end up working in silos. So when this information isn't shared effectively across team members or across departments, it can hinder collaboration, right? And slow down the decision-making process. An example would be with the sales team and a marketing team, right? Both of them are driving revenue, wanting to drive revenue, wanting to bring in new business. But if there's a lack of communication as to what's happening on each side, that can lead to a slowdown in processes, slowdown in project completion, and obviously reducing the overall efficiency, thereby making it possible that you might miss the goals that we're trying to tackle. So understanding all of that is crucial, and addressing these collaboration gaps is very crucial to ensure that all teams work together efficiently, they stay focused on their goals, and they maintain steady progress on the projects. Now, how do you leverage Time Doctor for this kind of thing, for smoother collaboration? We have work schedules, and we also have a timeline report, which will enhance that coordination. So I'm going to spend some time and just diving into those two reports so we can have a look and see exactly how you can optimize that for yourselves. So let me just bring that up real quick again. And what you'll understand here is sometimes it's you're thinking about how you're going to do this and wanting to find the right teams to fit together. So all you have to do is, I just need to find the right screen. Here we go. Is look at your work schedules, right? So work schedules, again, you'll find this under the reports tab. This would only work, and you click on the attendance report, and this is where you see. But you would have to have your work schedule set up in your company settings, and you will then have to align your work schedule. So you can allow your managers to do this, or you can do it as admins as well. So you'd have to set up the schedules. We have ways that you can do it, either by using CSV import. You can click on add and edit schedules here, and there is a walkthrough as how you want to do it. I'm not going to go into that detail today, but you can find that. And obviously, if you are struggling with that, you can just reach out to us and we can explain to you in more detail. Once you have set up your work schedules, you can come to your attendance report, and then you can obviously then just balance accordingly who's working when do we need people to be on, what is the routine, how can I align people from the same team to be working at the same time so that that collaboration is easy. When you are working with different time zones, this can also be tricky. So it's also good to align, so that if there are users or employees that are working on the same projects, but in different time zones, you're able to then make sure that at least there is some time that overlaps so your users are able to work together. All right. So very, very important you do that. In looking, I mentioned timeline, the timeline report as well. This is a great way to see who's working on what and when. Okay, so by clicking on reports, going to timeline, as you can see, this is set to week. So I can see who's online right now. So everyone that you can see with the green means that person is online now, and you can see the project or task that they are working on right now. So you're then able to go down the list and see, oh, we need to collaborate on something. Who of the following are online? Or if there is some bottlenecks, you can come and have a look and see maybe we're not, our attendance or our schedules are not aligning. So we need to make sure that we have the right people set up for the right time. And if you can optimize that and if you can build that up, what you'll start to find is, like I mentioned earlier, you'll be able to collaborate a lot easier because you'll be able to pick up where those exact bottlenecks are. Okay. And when we can start to optimize and understand these patterns, we are then able to see how we can recognize what's productive versus sort of burnout inducing work habits, which is what I'm going to go to next. And how we can use that to how we can use Time Doctor to build on that. So I'm going to stay here in the dashboard because I'm going to jump to a couple of things that we'll be looking at. Same thing, work schedules and timelines for better workflow planning. So one thing you need to know is that burnout is extremely, extremely big at the moment, and everybody is kind of getting burned out because they're just working too many hours. As I mentioned earlier, when we are working in distributed teams, when you work from home, sometimes this is your home, you work too many hours. So it's important that we recognize what are some productive versus burnout inducing work habits. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that here, where I'm going to just touch on a couple of those points. One of them is recognizing the difference between those two, as I mentioned. So the difference between a balanced workload and overworking. So prioritization of tasks to focus on what's most important. So again, we spoke about the projects and task report, going and seeing what's being prioritized. Or if you're looking at overworking, are there users that are frequently working long hours, right? We'll have a look at a report that you can judge that by in a second. Are your employees taking regular breaks? Okay. Laura showed you in the report of how you can see if someone has taken a break. She mentioned she took an hour break yesterday. Are your users taking breaks regularly versus skipping breaks to continue working? That could be a sign that either there's two signs. It's either they just have too much work, or they're not being effective and not being efficient with the workload that you have given them. Which leads to obviously time management. Is it an efficient use of their time? Is it leading them to neglect their personal life by, sacrificing personal time, working on weekends, and missing out on all of those things just to finish their work? So it's important that we can balance the work-life balance of our employees to make sure that we have long-term efficiency. So how do we do that with Time Doctor? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you a couple of things that we can incorporate here. Some of them we've mentioned already, so I won't obviously go into detail with those, but some of them we haven't touched on. So I'm gonna basically dive into those right here. But one thing you need to know is we're focusing on making our teams work more efficiently, making our teams work better, and just understanding how that works. So let me just bring back that dashboard. Here we go. All right, so one of the things that we'll talk about first of all is obviously I mentioned configuring your work schedules and timelines for better workflow planning. So we're not going to go there. Laura spoke earlier about the executive dashboard and how you can look at that and see, where the work is being done, what's happening, who's working too many hours, what teams need more help, or how we can move things around. The one that I'm going to focus on though is actually on the team dashboard. So if we go to the team dashboard, and this one you would need to view either in sort of the past 7 days or the past 30 days. And this is where we're going to focus on the work-life balance widget, which is to balance workloads and prevent burnout. So on your team dashboard, whatever team you have, if you scroll down, you'll also be able to see, the different metrics and just balance different trends of hours worked. And then you'll see just here at the bottom, most work-life balance potential issues. Okay? These can be adjusted on your company settings page. If you go to company settings page, you'll be able to adjust those rules. But as you can see, if you hover over anybody's particular name, you will see it has a number and it's 8. So that means there is 8 potential work-life balance issues that have been identified. One of them here is working long hours, more than 8 hours, or working late hours after 6 p.m. All right. Note, issues are based on each user's time zone. So you also need to take that into consideration. Is their time zone aligned with the company time zone? And that could also be it. But it's important that you balance that out. If I click on 30 days, you'll probably see that there'll be a little bit more data that will pull through, and there'll be a bunch more users that fall on the list. Again, there we go. So that number just increases. So by understanding that work-life balance is crucial for maintaining long-term efficiency, we should be able to look at these kind of things to ensure that, if we want our teams to be efficient, we want our teams to have longevity with the efficiency, so thereby we're boosting our business, we need to keep an eye on these kind of things. Now, sometimes it's difficult to dig deep into the data and go and have a look at all of these things. So what you can do is you can automate these kind of things by creating email notifications. Now, some of you may have seen this already. Some of you have email notifications that you've set up already, but it's quite simple to do. You can click on create new. And if we're talking about this particular instance, right, you have an option to do daily, you have an option to do real time, or you get an option to do weekly. Quite simple. The difference between the three is real time means as soon as this instance happens, you will get an email notification and you can go and have a look at the different options. If you want to see if your users are tracking break time. So as soon as they've tracked a break, you will get a notification. So if the rule is everybody needs to take breaks during the day and you don't get any of these emails, that's a cause for concern, right? So that's the way you can automate it. Or if someone just didn't start working or didn't start their shift that you set on their schedule, that's something you can go and have a look at. When it comes to your daily, again, you can look at the start time, you can look at a few other things. And also, if you look here and it says daily hours tracked, so again, you'll get an email notification to say, if someone is only supposed to work 8 hours a day, the next day you see that they've worked 9, 10, 11 hours. That is a way for you to manage that and go in and obviously look at the type of workload that they have and maybe adjust that a little bit for cross collaboration. So we're helping you to try and get this set up. Once you've created an email notification, just so you know, it is only admins that will be able to create the email notification. But something that we've added recently is you are able to then send this to particular managers or anybody else in the team that you want to send to based on who they manage so that they can get the data in real time for their particular teams. Okay, so That is how we're helping you to just streamline things and get a little bit more efficient, helping you to understand a few things by monitoring your work-life balance. Okay. So
Super.
just keep asking the questions and keep moving forward as we do this. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now because I want to dive into this next section, which we're going to touch on, which is something that not everybody has on this call. Laura will be aware of that. Not everybody has these options on the call, but there is a poll that's been running. I'm not sure if it is still running. If it is running and you haven't answered it, please do answer it, because what we're going to focus on now is, oh, there it goes. It is still running, right?
Mhm.
Add-ons that we have created recently. Our product team has been hard at work boosting team efficiency with different kind of add-ons. So we have 6, but based on the conversation that we've been having today, not all 6 will be appropriate for that, but they are also available. So the 3 that I'm going to focus on real quick is the unusual activity report. We have spoken about this in the past in a couple of webinars already, where you can detect those anomalies that Laura was speaking about in keyboard and mouse activity. So using things like simulators or mouse jigglers, we've got an AI powered analysis that can pick up on those things, right? So for example, if someone is burning out, they're overworking and they're just so tired, but they need to prove almost in a way that they're working, and then they start doing these things. So we've got an unusual activity report that can detect those things, so you can monitor that a little bit closer. We also have an in-office
Sorry to
versus
interrupt.
yeah.
Sorry, Cal. Sorry to interrupt real quick. We did a webinar on this exact same topic on unusual activity report. I invite you
Yeah.
all to go to Time Doctor's website under resources webinars, so you can check it out if you're interested in how to interpret all the data and how those mouse jiggler work. So, yep,
Yeah.
just a highlight there.
100%. 100%. Good shot. Good shot on that, Laura. That has been done. So go and check that out. Um, We also have video screen recording, which is available as an add-on now. All of these are available in obviously our premium plan. So if you're not on the premium plan, it is available as add-ons. So video screen recordings just helps you to analyze the workflow a little bit closer. It's different to just taking screenshots, every 3, 6, 9 minutes or whatever you've set it to. This one will actually be a video screen recording of the process. So you're again able to monitor efficiency a little bit closer, spot any bottlenecks in workflows. And then the other one that is sort of directly correlated to today's topic is the in-office versus remote reporting, which is something new that we've built, where you can compare how productive your employees are when they're in office or when they're remote. And you can get those data-driven insights just to get your policies in place a little bit better. So, like we've mentioned, if you are interested in any of these, if you don't have these in your platform and you're interested in these, including the executive dashboard that we mentioned earlier, which is obviously is not available as an add-on, but it is on our premium feature. But if you're interested in any of these, please let us know in the poll. If the poll is closed and you've missed it, you can still let us know. But these are tools that we have designed and created to help you know if your team is being more efficient. All right. And I think that's it, Laura. We've come to the end, and now is the time where we can dive in and have a look at some of the questions that have been posted. I believe there are a few questions that have been posted already. So maybe we
They
can
are.
we can dive in,
We
dive
and
in, dive into that.
And we do have a very curious audience and very cool questions, by the way. I can start if you want. So I
Yeah.
have an anonymous attendee here asking, does break time count for paid time or is it unpaid? Can we change it? So there are the current break feature that we have right now is considered paid break. However, we're testing the unpaid version of it. So let me just check 1 second. Yes. So we are testing the unpaid break version. It's currently being tested on a few clients. So once everything is done, we're going to be able to roll it out for all of our clients list. So more to come on that topic. And I can answer another one if you want, Cal.
Yep, go. Yeah, go
So
for it. Go
there's
for it.
another one that says, I lost it. Okay, how do I see time zone in the attendance report? How do I look which users are working on what time zones and how they align with other time zones? So this is a very cool question. And let me show you real quick here. Let me share. So So here in client success, we have people from all over the world. I'm in South America, Kiki is in Africa, Salib is in Central America. So we were all coming from different time zones. However, it can change from here, right? So right now, my vision is in Argentina. So I see how everybody is tracking their time in my time zone. However, if I want to see, for example, how let me see, Calvin. I think it's Johannesburg, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can click on Johannesburg time zone and I will be able to see exactly under his vision of the time zone. This will not change the company setting at all. This is just for your visibility on the different reports that we offer. So this feature here is present in several other reports so that you can tweak it to understand how to be able to see in your team's shoes how their time zones is like. So I hope this is answered. And Cal, do you have
Yeah.
anything here to share?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think there's one here which I think someone else also added in there, but it says when an employee uses multiple screens, does Time Doctor track all screens? That's a great question. The answer is yes. So we are able to track all the screens via the screenshots and or screencasts or the video recording and all of those things. But what I will advise you, and Laura's going to bring that up now, is in terms of activity, we will track the active screen or that they are using. But in terms of, as you can see there, there's a couple of people that are using more than one screen, and both screens, in example, there are being captured in terms of the screencasts, but only the active screen is the one that will be tracked in terms of productivity or the website and application. So, if I'm on a Zoom call and the Zoom meeting is on screen one and I have a Google document open on screen two and my time is on the Zoom meeting, that will be tracked as the active screen and that will be tracked as the website and application for that period of time. If I move my mouse to the other one, then for those 3-4 minutes that I'm in the Google document, that will then be tracked as the active screen. But to answer your question, yes, we are able to track multiple screens. Okay. Um, let me
I have
see if
a
I can.
I
Yeah,
have a
go for it.
question here from Therese, sorry. For unusual activity tracking, is there add-on fees? Yes, there is. There is an add-on fee, or we include the unusual activity tracking in the premium plan. So if you want, we can have an AE connect with you so that they can go over the report, the feature, how it works, and also the pricing associated with either the add-on or the subscription. Okay, so yes, there is an additional fee here.
Fantastic. Awesome. And this is a question that we get a lot from a lot of clients, Laura, is about the idle minutes.
Mm.
And if it's what is the best percentage to have reference? It's a very difficult question to answer, to give you a specific number because idle minutes are based on job role in most cases. And what we want to reference, and also Laura mentioned this when she was explaining this as well earlier in the webinar, that having a percentage of idle minutes is okay, right? It's not possible to have zero. It's not possible, to have it lower than 5% or lower than 10% all the time, right? But I must say it's dependent on the role. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you're in a company and you have a lot of data capturers, right? So their job means we need to be capturing data. We need to be moving our fingers. We need to be typing things, clicking things. Their idle time will naturally be a lot lower. 10, 15, maybe 20% or less every single day. But if there's someone who is maybe in sales or in customer success like we are, where we spend a lot more time on calls with clients, and we're not necessarily typing a lot or those kind of things, then our idle minute percentage will be a lot higher. Sometimes it's closer to 40, 45%. It's all dependent on the job role. It's all dependent on the company and what they do. So that is something that you can assess. And again, if you're battling to kind of balance it out, then reach out to us and we can guide you and give you a little bit of guidance on how you can calculate that and know what's best for your teams. But just to let you know, it is dependent on job roles.
Super, super, super. Let me go through one more question. Let me see. Okay, here, wanted to check, we can track attendance and get like a monthly summary of on each person for the days and hours that they have worked. So, what I suggest you do is go to the attendance report, and all of our reports are, you can download them, right? So in this case, you can select the time frame, like let's say from January 1st to January 31st, select the group or the person, and then you can download that report on a monthly basis if that's what you need. At the moment, we don't have any time notifications for that, but I'm sure our teams, our product teams, have something on the works. But yeah, so at the moment, all of our reports can be downloaded, and I encourage you to do that, right?
Fantastic. I think we have time for one more. So I think I'll take one. I think we kind of touched on it when I was presenting, but I'll answer this one as well because it is one that comes up. It's basically how can we configure Time Doctor to send automatic reminders or alerts when employees exceed idle time or become distracted. So that is your email notification alerts. So you can trigger some of those. So in terms of idle time at the moment, it's not a real-time alert, but that is something that you can get as a daily notification. So if you set it up today, it will give you the data for tomorrow morning based on what happened the previous day. So that's where you'll be able to see, okay, if I've set my parameter at 40%, I get an email the next day and you see, oh, Calvin's got 55% or 60% idle time. You can go into the data, you can go into the activity summary, and you can go and have a look a little bit closer to see where the bottleneck was, where the distraction came, and why the idle time was so high. But at this moment, it's not available as an immediate alert. But who knows in the future? Maybe that might be something that would come later at a later stage. But at this moment, it will just only be available as a daily alert. All right. Is there time for one more, or I think we're running out of time
I think
actually.
so. Just one
Yeah,
more, one quick more. I have Tanya here. Is
go for
there a
it.
way to automatically replicate the schedules on Time Doctor instead of having to create a new one every week? Yes. Tanya, you can download the export CSV file for the entire year or for 2 years in a row. So you can just download it, complete it for from today until the end of the year, let's say, and then you're done. You don't need to do that every single week because it could be time consuming, right? And then if you need to do some kind of adjustments for a particular day or, a weekend, you can just go ahead and manually do that. But for the sake of time and also to do it like in a bulk section, you can download the CSV and choose from today until the end of the year. That's it.
Awesome. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, and I think, guys, thank you so much. You've been wonderfully interactive today. We are taking a record and a note on the questions that have been asked that we didn't get through. Fortunately, we've run out of time, and so we will have a deeper look and do our best to get answers to you for those questions that we haven't gotten to. But thank you for your time. Thank you for spending it. Thank you, Laura, for being such an
Yeah,
amazing host and for sharing stuff. Any
thank you.
last words that you want to share?
No, this audience has been great. A lot of questions, and I see George. Shout out to George Magno. I'll get back to you on the question you just sent. Thank you for being here. One of my lovely customers right here. I spotted him. So yeah, we're sorry we couldn't cover everybody's questions, but we will. Okay, we have it documented, so either Calvin, me, or an AE will reach out to you and make sure everything is answered. So yeah, nothing but thank you for all of you for your time, for your questions, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you once again. Goodbye, and have a great day or great evening, great afternoon, wherever you're based, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.